Guess who's talking? It's Tamika Austin with Teamster Talk. Today we are here with Jeff Cornell and Chris Carter with Southern Glacier Wine Experience. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hello.
Thank you. Doing?
I'm doing pretty good. First, I would like to welcome you to Teamsters Local 455.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
I'm so excited for you guys. I'm really excited. There's a couple of things that get me excited. Tacos, we all know tacos, and bacon. But new members, it's always so cool because I know how hard you guys work to get contracts. So I'm just like, that is so cool. So would you tell our listeners who you are and where you work?
My name is Jeff Cornell. I work at Southern Glazers Wine and Spirit of Colorado.
My name is Chris Carter. I work at Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits in rural Colorado.
What is Southern Glazers Wine and Spirit? I know because I did a little bit of research for this this conversation.
We're a liquor and wine distributor.
That sounds like up my alley.
A lot of people's alley.
We're actually the biggest distributor in the Northern Hemisphere.
I did read that on their website. I like to read their public persona. I work for UPS, by the way. So it's always interesting to go to these different companies' websites. So where would we find any of the liquor? Because you guys have a multitude of different brands that you guys carry. Am I correct?
Anywhere in Denver.
Anywhere in Denver? Well, anywhere. If you said it's
Convenience stores, grocery stores, liquor stores,
liquor
bars, restaurants.
So what kind of liquor do you guys carry? I'm just curious. I may be somewhat of a liquor connoisseur.
Vodkas, bourbons. I think the only thing we don't carry is we don't do Hennessy, Remy, we lost Casamigos, and Don Julio. But everything else.
So what do you guys do at your workplace?
My job is day replenishment. I basically prepare the speed lines for the night crew, so when they come in, they can start their production.
Okay, what do you do?
I am night warehouse fulfillment. I'm a veteran, so I basically just move around. I do a little bit of everything. I train, I work speed lines, wherever they need me to go. I work the sorter. I'm just everywhere.
See, if I had y'all's job, I just want y'all to know, I probably would be in a line of trouble. Let's just be honest. But hey, I'm sitting up here going, the Lord knew what to give me, and he knew not to put me in a warehouse with a bunch of liquor, because I'm telling you right now, I'd be the life of the party. I mean, every party. So, what are some other jobs at your facilities? Because we're not familiar. I'm not familiar. What else, you guys have both told us, are there other jobs besides that at Southern Wine? I know people can go on the website, and I want them to now that we represent them. But what other jobs do they have that are that you guys negotiate?
Well, there's on the day crew, there's receiving, where we have the receivers, we have the put away crew. There's other day replenishment people. There's a person that pulls orders for the salespeople when they come in.
Okay. So, I like to do an icebreaker game, and because they all know how I am, it could go anywhere. So I'm gonna say a word, and you tell me what you associate with it. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay, Teamsters.
Unity, passion, respect.
Respect, exactly.
What about unions? You got unions.
Respect, a voice, rights, better compensation, better benefits. There's so many things that come with being union.
There really is. Before we started this interview, we were talking about this sticker that we have, because I'm not talented. Just so you guys know, when y'all see all the cool, talented arts and stuff, that is not my ministry. That's not the gift that God gave me. But there's a Hoffa picture where he does, I can do this, right? He's giving the finger. If anybody's seen this picture, it's like a national pitch. It's a national treasure, in my opinion. We were talking about that. And it blows my mind how people get offended by that picture when it's literally everything you guys described. It's rights, it's respect, it's Teamsters. It kind of sums up how we are. I'm not just saying this. Whenever I go interact with other unions, I feel like everyone else, we're just different. They're very nice. Every other union is so nice. And then you hear about Teamsters, and they automatically are like, oh, that's a different ballgame. Because when we chant, we loud. When we're all together, we're loud. So it's just a different energy. No, nothing different, nothing bad about other unions. I'm just talking about ours because I think we're pretty bad at what we do. Bad isn't good. So you guys just ratified your first contract, and you guys had a couple things that happened before that, because this is not your first time, am I right?
That is correct.
So tell me how that went, because there was two processes. So when we talk about this on the podcast, they had two stages there. So I want to talk about the first go around first. Were you both there for that?
Yes.
Yes.
So what happened? How did it even get started? Because I have went to Southern Glacier Wine and Spirits website, and I found it interesting because their website is so pretty, and they have all this stuff how they like nonprofits, and we doing all this for the community. So then I'm curious as to how you guys decided to organize, because the website is very pretty. Like if I were looking for a job and went to their website, I'm like, oh my God, it seems like a great place.
Yeah, great company, great place. I mean, for me, it started as far back as probably 2019 when we were moving from our old facility to the new facility out in Aurora, Colorado. And that was, so much work to undertake. There was, 6, 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, facilitating the move. And then, of course, we took care of that. We did that. In fact, we were told that it was the most seamless, best move in the company history of all the moves they've ever had. And then you go into the following year, 2020, the pandemic happens. We become essential workers. Nobody else has to go into the building and work except for operations, basically in warehouse and delivery. So we get through that. We take care of that. In fact, the company records record profits in 2020 after all that.
Imagine that.
And then you move on to the following year in 2021, and we're told that we're not getting any more raises. And where we're at on the pay scale, we're capped. And they're going to start giving us a $2,000 and $80 bonus, equal to $1 an hour, basically.
So you're not going to get a raise, but they're just going to give you $2,000, and that's supposed to...
That's equal to $1 an hour, and they were telling us that they were paying us too much. And at some point in time, where does it end? Where does the giving, stop? Of course, we weren't earning it; they were giving it to us.
The audacity.
So yeah, exactly. So where does it all end? We've got to end this somewhere. We can't just keep giving you raises because it wasn't earned. It wasn't like we earned those raises in their eyes. It was just we were given this money, and we got to stop giving you guys raises.
The audacity and the just downright pure fuckery.
Yeah.
To not act like you earned this money.
Right.
For people who are listening who may not have had essential jobs and have the ability to stay at home and not be terrified to leave your house, to go out and be considered an essential worker for companies, that's offensive. That's offensive on so many levels, because you said the people in the warehouse got to come to work, but I bet you there were people who were like management or whatever. Did they get to stay at home?
Nobody else was in the building.
Nobody. It was only warehouse and warehouse management. The other side, sales
and delivery.
All those, they didn't come. They were from home. Everybody else was remote, except for us.
We were the only ones in the building during 2020.
You had COVID. You were just in there.
So I have a question. Did they have any COVID protocols?
Yeah, we had a temp heat sense that we would walk through before we came in the building. That's it.
That's it?
Yeah, if you came in and, it was summertime, so if it's hot, you might be beeping. Like, it might have been times where I came in and I was 105 degrees because it was hot outside, and I would have to sit to make sure. But if you had it, everybody got it.
That's taking your temperature. Nothing else?
Oh, of course, we had to wear a mask.
Wear a mask, but that's it.
Hand sanitizer?
Had hand sanitizer. And cleaners for our equipment and so forth.
You needed to stay basically 6 feet apart from each other.
Yeah, they had the distancing and all that.
Well, what happened the first time? So then after this happens, you have the money issue. How did you guys lead to trying to organize at the first time? After all this has happened, COVID's happened, they've given you the audacity money treatment, and now we're at the point where the workers, because how many people are in your work group?
There's probably roughly about 60
like 60
between days and nights.
Okay, so how did the work group finally say, we need a union, we want the Teamsters?
Well, of course, I think over the years, there's always was talk about unions and, and what it would be like to be union. We always knew that Breakthrough was union. And over the course of the years, we've had, many, discussions, even with management back in Denver, back in, I don't know, 2012 or something. The drivers were talking about going union. And they brought in the union busters from out of state to tell us, the evils of going union and how terrible it was and so forth. So, it wasn't like the first time it came up, but it certainly, after that, it was like, we really need to get something done. And how it all started was I spoke to a night crew guy that used to work at Meadow Gold. His name was Brandon Herja. And I went and I spoke to him because I knew he was in the union at Meadow Gold. And I had heard that he knew Kathy Tahonen, the organizer for the 455. So I went up and approached him, and I had heard he was pro-union and had often told people how he would like to go union. So went up and spoke to him and asked him if he could call Kathy and set up a meeting, because I felt like we had the support on the day crew, and he felt like there was a lot of support on the night crew at the time, and let's get this thing moving.
The union difference really does make a difference. And so it is so cool that one of our members from Meadow Gold goes to you guys and then proceeds to tell you guys how important it is. And what happens is a lot of people don't realize how serious union busting is. Like in my regular life, and I'm talking to people about what I do when I do brand, sometimes I do, tell them about my life, and I'm talking to them about, if unions are so bad, why do they spend so much money to keep us out?
Right.
And it's because when you go to Southern Glazers' website, they do look like, oh my God, look at these happy people. But you guys as workers and me as a worker, we know how they do not want us there, and how they do actively campaign to keep us out. So tell me what it's like when they union bust.
Well, they bring in the people from out of state to talk about what a great company we work for. And we don't work for a bad company, and nobody is saying that. But, they don't know out of state what goes on in Colorado. Nobody from Dallas, Texas, or Indianapolis, or any other place in the country knows what goes on in Denver, Colorado, or in this case, Aurora, Colorado. So they come out and they tell everybody that, okay, we know there's been mistakes made, and, just give us another chance. We're going to correct them this time. Just all we're asking for is another chance. And then, of course, they talk about the evils of the union, that the union is just this greedy business that wants you to pay for your job, and they want part of your paycheck for free.
You know what? I always find it funny when I hear things about myself that are true.
And the crazy part about that is they came and they try to talk to us, but they don't tell you that their facility is in union.
Right, exactly.
The people that they send to talk to us, the vice president or whatever, the facility he came from is union. You're trying to persuade us not to go union, but where you're working is a union.
Yeah, but you don't need one in Aurora, Colorado. They need one in Texas. They need one in Indiana. They need one in Missouri, and et cetera, et cetera. But we don't need one in Colorado because of our phenomenal management team.
I think it was pretty simple. I know his experience is a little different from mine because he's been around longer. I'm the newer, but I'm the voice on nights. So I've only been with the company over about 3 years. And I came from Teamsters 455. I came from Americold, which is Wendigo now. So I was already a Teamster when I came over. And I came in, we were going back and forth. I came in with COVID. I came in, it was a struggle. You didn't have night shift people. Maybe had 15 to 20 people a night. And we were working 16-hour shifts for about 4 to 5 months straight, every day. They force you to work. They might say, hey, something happened on Tuesday, Thursday night, or you'll get a text Friday, we need you to come in and work. You know, it's just we needed a bigger voice because our voice wasn't big enough. We weren't being heard. The union came in and they did that. You know, it took away them just doing whatever they wanted to do to us, taking away raises, making up rules, saying this, saying that, and just running things their own way. You know, because when I first came, it failed. We lost by 1 vote. You know, and people just didn't understand that. They were thinking that it was going to be such a bad thing. And I'm like, listen, man, this is what we need. It's not just about the money, but it's about your future. It's about whoever else comes to work here. It's about the infrastructure. It wasn't strong enough, you know, and greed. You know, when people make money, they get greedy, they get lazy. They start to really not realize the bigger picture, and they start to forget about the people down at the bottom, which is us, the warehouse, the grinders. We're grinding for you to make what you make, but you're not sacrificing for us anymore. You know, so when we came, and like Jeff was saying, they came in and they talked to us, and we voted it down the first time. Not us personally, but it got lost by 1 vote. We lost by 1 vote. They gave us $3 raise, you know, and they said, okay, stick it out for a year. We said, I work. So we went from 20 to 20 or 23 to 26, I believe. And everything just went downhill. Our boss quit, half our crew. Our night shift boss quit, half of our crew was lost. We brought in a whole new management. Basically everything switched, and it just went downhill. Nothing, like, everything was messed up. So we brought the vote back. And the day shift was already on board because it was the same people. It was harder for me because my night shift flipped 2 or 3 times. So every time we would get the vote, it would be 20 new people.
Right, exactly.
People. So I have to influence more people to come in, and then they will hold back the voting. They will hold back our process. So, oh, we're going to vote on this day. Well, we're going to vote 2 months from then. So it's like, well, I have 15 new people that I have to try to influence to get us to say yes. But we went in on a vote and we won by a landslide.
I'm telling you, before y'all.
It was maybe like 46 to 1 or something like that.
I'm so happy over because I don't know if you guys are aware. I think nationally we're trying to organize Costco. So we all know I love Costco. Tacos, Costco, bacon. When I go to Costco, I try to talk to those people because I know that they can't, while they're checking me out with my $300 worth of stuff I probably don't need. But I want them to know, hey, the unions are a good thing. I think they're, just so we're clear, it's $200 worth of alcohol and things.
You're the one keeping us so busy.
Yeah, I am. So when I'm talking to the people at Costco, I'm trying to get them to understand, like, you know, of course, I'm like, I hope they're not judging me. I hope they're not judging me. They probably think I'm having a party at least once a month. But I'm like, hey, you guys familiar with Teamsters? And they're like, and they what they say? They say it's a political organization. I was like, well, we're a union. Are you familiar with unions? I almost feel like I'm like flirting for them to be informed. And a lot of the times they really have no clue about the power of unions. And that's why when you're talking about union busting, which cracks me up, and you said people from the states that they were coming from had organized work groups, how hypocritical is that?
Right.
For you to go tell somebody else, you don't need a union, but my people are at a union.
And it's crazy because they came here and I said that when you were talking to us, and I said, well, isn't your state union? Because he came from Indiana, and he was like, yeah. And everybody just got quiet and looked. And it's like, well, what are they to talk about? How can you influence us not to be where you're coming from is? It's just wrong.
Did he shut up? Because I did. He wasn't face kind of like.
It was red. They didn't
It's time for me to
know what to say after that.
Because he looked stupid. He looked very stupid to come and influence somebody. It's like me telling you, do not eat bacon. And everybody know I love bacon. Matter of fact, I had some more bacon yesterday. But that should tell people, if you're not organized and you want to be organized, you should listen to these gentlemen, because this should tell you how union busting is. And they're going to lie to you. They're going to make it seem like they're your best friend, and they're going to be all sweet with you. And the whole time they're not looking out for your interests. There's a reason why. The thing about it, the company flew them in from out of state. So you mean there's nobody here? Like, how much money did they spend on flights, per diem? So if they have enough to bring in a union buster, that means they have enough to change wages, to influence safety, to have a contract in place. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong at all.
So that leads me to how did you said it was hard for you. You touched on what I want to ask next. You touched on how hard it was because your work group kept changing. And that's an interesting dynamic we have now because you don't have to tell me your age. I'll just tell you I have a couple children that are 27, 28.
I'm 32.
Oh, so you're close to my kid's age. There's this younger dynamic, and it's like my age group, we were always taught to work hard and then later on enjoy it. And then it seems like they want more of a work-life balance.
Right.
They have advantages that we didn't have when I was a kid. When I turned 18, I didn't have insurance anymore. I wasn't on my parents' insurance, but now my kids stay on until 26. So I think that adds a different stress that you don't have for another. I can't do math. What's 26 minus 18? What's the number 7? That's another 7 years, right? 8 years. That there's so much you can do in 8 years when you don't have to worry about, how much is it going to cost to go to the dentist? Or do I need a prescription for anything? So I think that brings a different dynamic. So now the local, because that's why we have the young regulators, is we're trying to figure out this younger dynamic. So when you were talking to these people and the turnover was so high, what was some of the reasons they were leaving?
Well, basically what you touched on, we get a lot of the younger people. And we're just the production, so we're moving everything out. You know, the morning shift they're stocking, but we're working hard. We're moving, if you're working a speed line, you're going to walk anywhere from, 5 to 10 miles a night and lift anywhere from 10 to 25,000 pounds a night. So you take that into account and you're doing that for 12 to 16 hours a day. It gets hard on people. You don't get time. They're forcing you to come to work on your days off, and they're just making up rules, and now you can't do this, you can't do that. People they leave. They're like, well, I don't make enough for this.
Well, during our first go-around, too, it was also 2021, and we were coming out of the pandemic, so a lot of people were still getting paid a lot of money not to work.
Not to work.
They were collecting all that unemployment.
Yeah.
So, employee retention was,
you were making more money than unemployed.
Impossible in 2021. So, it was a revolving door fighting that coming out of the pandemic. And, that was the main reason we lost that first election, because they're just, we get the message out, like Chris was saying, we'd get cards signed, and then we'd lose a bunch of people. We'd get more cards signed, we'd lose a bunch of people. And it was just a constant battle with that. And, of course, this all takes time with you organizing, getting cards signed, turning them in, waiting to, get enough cards, and then waiting for the filing with the NLRB and all that. And by the time we got to the election, I just don't think we had enough people that understood what we were doing.
So how long did it take the first time to try to organize?
Well, we started August 8th, 2022. Our election was March 18th, 2023. So it wasn't, super long, but it was quite a process. But the employee retention was really the biggest fight we had.
I think just with employee retention, also it goes to management. When you go in an interview, you're in a warehouse, you're looking online and they say 10-hour shifts. So they're thinking, 4 days a week, 10-hour shifts, 40, and they say, a little bit of overtime. And that's what they told me when I came in. Mind you, I was at Americo Wendigo, way harder than what I'm at now. We're order picking, we're running. When I came in, they told me maybe work 45 hours a week. I was working 75 hours a week when I first started.
Oh, that escalated real fast.
You see what I'm saying? So them not telling people, hey, we're short right now. It's a hard time for us. You're going to work a lot of hours. You're going to get paid, but you're going to work a lot of hours. They didn't say that. So people were coming in thinking they're only going to work maybe 45 to 48 hours a week. You're starting off working 60 to 65 hours. They're like, hold up. It's tough, and it's tough on your body, because when you're in that warehouse, you're going to get blisters on your feet. Your hands going to get blistered up. Your body's going to physically hurt, because it's physical, so you're going to hurt. So if you're not used to really the physicality of it after that first week, you want to come back. It feel like your body been hit by a train.
And I don't think these people realize, there is no workout that I've ever done that prepares you for any warehouse job. Not one.
I've had college football players that played, you know, that just graduated come work with us that I put on the job. He said it was too hard for him. And he just played college football in Colorado. Said he's an athlete. Said it was too hard for him. It was too physical. Working the speed line and running and lifting. I said, man, you an athlete. I don't understand.
I've heard that warehouse jobs, they say it at UBS, you guys are industrial athletes. And it blows my mind when these companies say that, but they treat their industrial athletes like, oh, I could just go get another one. And that's not true because not everybody can play football at CU. Like, I know that's a whole different. I know that there's parents out here that are sitting up here having little Billy and his little friends play football, and they're thinking they're going to be the next Deion Sanders and all those Sanders children. The truth of the matter is your child's probably not going to end up being that. So you should get him a Teamster job or a union job or let him go study. The truth of the matter is these jobs are hard. I know my customers, they love me. I love them. We laugh about like the fact that I make my job look easy, but it's hard. It is not easy job working in the warehouse. I was at UPS warehouse for 8 years before I went to. These are hard jobs. They're good paying jobs because they're Teamster jobs and they're union jobs, but they're hard jobs. And so these companies need to stop treating us like we're disposable because nobody can do what we do. What was done differently the second go around?
Well, the second go around, it was a lot different. I mean, first and foremost, I think it was less clandestine. Of course, the company was aware of the union activity. They knew that we could file for another election in a year. And even though the guy from Texas told us if we wanted the union in a year, he would give it to us, we knew that was not true.
Yeah.
We knew that wasn't going to happen. And it certainly did not happen. And so I think it was more upfront. Management, although they didn't know what we were doing or how we were doing it, they were expecting it. And so that made it easier. I think also the employee retention, once 2021 was over with, 2022 was over with, we were into 2023. I think it got a little bit better too. So, you know, it wasn't this revolving door of talking to people and stuff. I mean, there was a lot of differences. A big difference also was the QR codes that we got this time. Instead of physically handing out cards, having people fill them out, having to get them back, having to turn them in. You know, the QR code was great on the organizing side of things.
I love a good QR code.
You know, this time we not only had Kathy, although I know she was fighting her battle. We also had Jake. Jake was in the mix now, and he's out knocking on doors with Jake and Ian and bringing the truck out. I think it was a little bit more in your face, if you will, organizing this time around. Yeah, a little bit more active, like I said, was it so, you know, trying to keep everything behind the scenes and trying to keep everything away from management and be quiet about it. They were aware of the fact that we tried to go union and we'd probably do it again.
And see, that's a testament to the work group. The fact that the first time it didn't work out and you guys were like, oh no, thanks for bringing that guy from Texas or Indiana, wherever you from.
From everywhere.
From wherever you brought them from Mars, but we ain't done with you yet. And you guys came back because you guys didn't stop fighting. And that, to me, is what Teamsters do. So we don't stop fighting. And when we fight, we do win. And it's not just something we say, it's something we live by. We're going to have a part 2, guys. Thank you for taking the time to tune into Teamster Talk. Remember, know your power, use your power, union power. Follow us on all of our social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Teamster Talk on Facebook, Teamster Talk on Instagram, and Teamsters Local 455 on Facebook and Instagram. And also check out the website, which is teamsterslocal455.org, and the YouTube channel. Thank you again for listening.